Well, here we are again, working on an exhaust. I removed the catalytic converter from the stock exhaust. Didn't see much of a big change. No change in sound. It was a little bit more tinny of a noise that it makes. Not a big deal. But I figured I wanted to try one of these out. And I gotta say, of anything, it is beautiful. High quality stainless steel, good TIG welds. Really nice. I'm a little confused why they did it with like a slip-on pipe, but not a big deal. The only issue, and it's not really an issue, I just need to take care of it, is I need to add another O2 bung because I have two in there. And I will get a light so you can see better. I have two O2 sensors, one for the wideband, one for the Honda side. My wideband gauge is right there. Also testing out this new camera too is the only reason I'm making a video on it. I also have a boost gauge on the dash. That's not the final design, that's just a quick throw together. I'm going to put a fuel pressure gauge in, and I want to find a gauge pod that mounts some similar to that, that's 2 in 1. And so far I haven't found one that I like. There's not a lot of room in there to mount what you want. I've considered moving it over to the center, but I've already obstructed enough of the view with adding GoPros and stuff like that that I'm going to be running. But that is a pretty exhaust. Look at her shine. Well, I am going to get started adding the O2 sensor on that pipe, and then we're going to install it tonight. I guess I'll run it right now so you can hear it, what it sounds like. So I've got the hole drilled out. It is O2 bungs that I purchased are like 0.82 of an inch. Drilled it out. These pipes are pretty thick, a lot thicker than the stock pipe. So I ended up stepping it up to my big 1-inch reamer that I didn't put through all the way to get it to the spot where I needed it. And now I'm going to weld it up. Alright, time for the first startup with the new exhaust. See if I can get a better spot. There we go. Well, all done, cleaned up, warmed up and cooled off. All in all, I like the sound of the exhaust. It's a little throatier, deeper, but not really louder. It's really slight. Maybe I can figure it out from the video sound when I edit the video, how many more decibels it was at wide open throttle, because I had the camera in the same exact spot. But obviously the downspout is pointed directly towards the camera, so it's going to be a little louder, but it really doesn't sound much louder, just deeper. I ran it for a long time. The tip never got hot. Obviously idling's not going to be a big deal. I also installed the wideband sensor right there, welded that in. There's the other O2 sensor for the machine. I did have, I wouldn't call it an issue, but this little tin bracket right here was touching all along the red part of the Evo exhaust shield. I just took a screwdriver, reached in there and bent it up a little bit, and then that's not touching anymore. She is very shiny. Of course, my turbo pipes used to be that shiny. They've got some miles on them now, and they're not quite as shiny as they used to be. No complaints on the turbo kit so far. I have about 1,300 miles on it. Other than getting used to the power kind of doesn't make it as much fun. The novelty is worn off. So now it's time to start playing with turning it up more. On another note, the shocks on the Talon. Now, I have put shock therapy springs on, but when I got this, those plastic pieces were pointed forward. Now, to me, there's nothing going to really hit that shock on that side, but my tire was throwing lots of mud into the shock. Now, every Talon I've seen has that plastic piece pointed towards the front. And that just doesn't make sense to me. Now, do I know everything about these things? No, I don't. So if anybody knows why they point forward, if there's a real reason, I have no problem putting it back, but I would rather have the mud not caking on the rod on the inside and then ruining my seals at some point. So I turned them both around, pointed to the back. But I've looked at like 4 Talons. Every one of them were pointed towards the front from the factory.